No sound. No sound.
Oh, that's because I'm still muted.
Oh, you idiot. Good start,
Good
innit?
start. Anyway, welcome. Thank you very much. Hope you're well. What's he doing? What's he doing?
See what
Unmuting
we
my
got to put up with?
microphone.
See what we got
See,
to
I
put up with,
just
everybody?
unmuted my microphone. What
I
are you
sat here
What
like?
we
looking
got to
at
put
it.
up
He says,
with?
stop now. Before we started, he says, mute your microphones, guys. And then he put that horrible music on and forgot to
That's just
unmute
to
his
get
own
your
microphone.
attention. That's just to wake you up if you're asleep.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I said it's
Good
like
start.
something from the Moomins or the Magic Roundabout or something.
But a
Crap,
moon.
whatever it is.
Button Moon, that's what it is. Was that Button Moon tune, was it?
But anyway, welcome. Welcome to
Teletubbies.
our first podcast pilot. If it works, we'll bring it back. If it don't work,
First,
this will be the first and the last.
first and last.
So,
Oh, dear.
as always, it's about interacting with you guys within the chat. So, obviously, we've got topics to talk about. If you guys want to obviously contribute to it, then put your question in the chat.
Oh, no. You guys got to contribute.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
if you
No,
want to.
got to contribute. There's no point
gotta
us just sitting here talking to each other.
We
that's
got to
for
be
sure.
able to take the mick out of somebody, so you got to contribute. Simple as that.
So, that's what it's all about. So, as always, I'm sure we'll try and entertain you. But again, it's all about, well, let's just see
We'll
how
see.
it goes, shall we? See
Oh,
how it goes.
well, hold on a minute. There's the question.
Not yet.
Yes.
I've got to introduce them all in first. Wait.
I never worry about
We
that.
will
Never worry
reveal
about that.
that question. We will reveal the
Yeah,
answer to that question
wait.
at the end. At the
We're
end.
not revealing that at all. We're just it's going to be an ongoing thing.
okay.
There we go. Anyway, everybody, welcome to
Good evening,
first
everybody.
and
Never
maybe
mind,
the
Terry.
last
Just ignore Terry.
TTT podcast. And say hello to Gerard, the French turner. Has been sitting there for a long time because he wanted to be the first. Hello, Gerard.
was
It's
first
all
now.
about the French tonight. We're going to take the mick out of him, okay? So you didn't do
Ooh.
bad coming in, Gerard. Norman Greenwell's there as well. Wayne the Wood Turner's there after his holiday. Rob Copperell's joined us. Haley from Wooden Burls there. Paul Findley's in. Paul
Even Paul.
Kavanagh's in. Oh, blimey, look out
Oh,
now.
no,
Then.
no,
Mike
not
Evans
the
is
Calvin.
in. Malcolm Douglas.
Calvin off
Robert
the Clean
Boltwood.
Workshop.
Robert Boltwood's there also. Broadwood. What is? Sorry, Robert. I'm writing. Wivey Witch says there. Andrew. Nigel Harvey's there. Michael McEwen's in. Vinnie Chone's in. Todd from Glencoe's there. Barry Chitty's there. That Mike from Dances with Aardvarks is in. Roy's the boy. For some reason,
I
fell
can't
off his
believe it.
perch. And he's actually in early.
Well, well done, Roy.
Wow.
He's
James
obviously
Crawford's
been
in.
he's been kicked out of the pub, Terry. Definitely.
Twisted Pete's in. Hello, Pete. Woodwork Intermediate, Andy's in. Doug Miller's there, of course. Rob makes stuff, and Rex B is there. Also, we got Raymond Wise, and we have David Vaughan, and Roger Kent. Thank you for coming in, all of you. We will mention all the rest as they come in, but there we are. I'll give you to Steve now. He's going to explain
Well,
what
just quick,
TTT means.
just quickly, I think this one here is a little bit below the belt. In keeping with the last 2 weeks' question, Steve, what's the worst thing working with Brian? No, that's a little bit.
Oh, come on.
That's a little bit harsh, Paul. You know what I mean?
Cheers, cheers, Paul. Mate.
That's a little bit below the belt, that one. I love working with Brian and Terry. They're both great guys, I must admit.
You stop
Green
lying.
Evans Creations is in tonight, and Gerard the French turner says, so I understand there's no turning tonight in 60 zillion question marks. Correct.
No turning. No turning. Unless I can turn on the other desk, which I doubt it. So anyway, basically we've got 3 topics. We've all picked a topic each, and we're going to allow those topics to run for around 15-20 minutes, and then we're going to move on to the following topic, because if not, we're going to be here all night just
We're not going to be here all night.
We're not going to be here. We're only on for an hour maximum, and then we're going to go to sleep because I'm knackered.
Exactly.
Well, you can go. Steve and I can talk about you then while you're gone, Brian. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about me anyway? What difference does that make?
Then we can tell Paul what it's really like working with Brian. He's a slave driver. He's a slave driver, Paul. Anyway, let's kick off with the first topic, shall we? So
we are, people.
let's choose.
Evening, everybody.
This is what we want from you.
We're not
We
going to
want
do it in.
answers.
We're not going to do it in order. We all
Your
chose a
debate.
topic.
We want.
So let's choose the.
Random.
Let's choose this one first. So, is YouTube a good resource for beginner turners? Now we know a lot of
Oh,
you
see.
guys come over and watch us free, but we also know that there's a lot of turners on YouTube that are not very safe. They don't practice very good practice either.
I'm
So,
included in that.
well, we didn't
Terry.
say anything, but we just want your opinion on this. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I like to feel that us three we're fairly safe on there. And obviously, if there was an issue that anyone didn't agree with, then I'd like hopefully that someone would message us and let us know after the live via Messenger or whatever. But let's see what you guys got to say.
Or sometimes the earworms just jump in and tell you right there and then,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So the
Like
question
you're
is
in a watch
YouTube
or
a good
something.
resource for beginners turns?
Terry, what's your opinion on that?
Well, my opinion is I was just about to say what Wayne put up there. The answer is it all depends on how good the YouTuber is.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And obviously, there are turners out there who are not very. I wouldn't say they're unsafe. I think they're uneducated sometimes.
Well,
So
unsafe as well.
oh yeah, well yeah, but yeah. So
But let's get to the topic, the actual topic. Is it a good resource for beginner turners?
Yeah,
That's
is
what
it a
we're
good
really thinking
resource for
about. Is it
beginners?
for a beginner? Now, if you're a beginner and you know nothing, the first thing you see kind of sticks in your head. So
And
if
that
you
could
watch
be
something
that
that's
could be
badly
anybody.
done, that may well start you off on the wrong road, if you like.
Yeah, you may never
Yeah.
ever learn
and-
how to use a
Hmm.
masking tape if you watch the wrong one.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
So that's my issue with YouTube. That it's not a resource where you can be guaranteed to find a decent turner.
Pete's just asking you, Brian, have you still got your watch on?
Yes, Pete.
Just checking.
It's on.
Okay.
Not
Simon
turning
Mason's
tonight,
in.
so it's
Hello,
on.
Simon.
I didn't have it on last night, Pete. You'll be proud to know.
Martin from Aurora Woodworks has joined us. Hello, Martin.
Hi, mine. So a lot of people are saying that they would find it hard to learn without YouTube. But we're asking, we're not asking about you. We're asking, yeah,
Just in it's in general.
general,
It's
yeah.
a-
So yeah.
We're not making personal points or anything
Oh
else.
no,
and
no,
we're not,
no.
we're not here
personal
to rubbish anybody's channel or anything like that. But
No,
just
definitely
in general,
Is it a good resource to actually?
So a lot
or
of
is it,
people,
or is it better for people to actually go and take a lesson from a
So-
professional, for example?
yeah,
First.
like Martin's just said, if you select who you watch, again, that's down to the individual safety aspect. And you got as an individual, you're responsible for your own safety, your own learning, and your own knowledge acquirement. So, like Martin's just said, it's down to the individual, really, isn't it?
Yeah, there are
And
some
Laurie's
really,
just joined us as
really
well.
good people on YouTube, I have to say. And
Anne says she's watched a lot of old American turners when she started, and then she also took a day's lesson. Well done.
I recommend taking lessons any day of the
Yep,
week
exact-
if you can get
exactly.
near a professional, or if
yeah,
you've got
I
good
would as
turners in
well.
your club. If you're in a local club and you've got good
Um,
turners
um,
there, get
um,
lessons from them.
But
Andy Woodwork Intermediate says he learned if he can be very dangerous. His first video was on Steve's. It cost him a fortune since. Well, that tells a story, doesn't it, Andy?
Where's that?
Todd says
my
YouTube lives.
my internet has gone funny, but
Yeah, you're jumping backwards and forwards, right?
yeah, it's not.
Todd says YouTube
it's not very
lives
stable.
provide great education, especially for beginners. The lives probably do.
Yeah.
Depends on who you're watching, of course.
Well, the lives are good
well-
because you can ask questions while lives are going, aren't they? So
That's correct.
Roy's learned a lot from YouTube. Well, has he really? He's not been there half the time. He's in the pub, hasn't he?
Well, he's always late too. He's not always late, but you know what I mean. Yeah, but to get back to the topic,
Paul Cavanagh says the lesson is great, but it can be hard to know where to start. YouTube is great, but sometimes it can set unrealistic expectations of what is possible.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you see somebody turning who's really good, if they're doing a bowl, they just whack the bowl out in seconds. Of course, beginner goes up there with a tool, and the next thing it's spinning around in his hand because he doesn't know what to do with it. So yeah, YouTube is harder to do than a live demo, says Pete. On a live, you don't know the skill level you are presenting to, but can ask. On YouTube, you may drift through how you are through how you are presenting the same tool as live. Yeah, but if somebody's presenting a YouTube live, it's not necessarily to teach somebody; it's to show them how the person is making it.
Yeah,
you're not actually saying this is how you should do it or how I do it, whatever. Unless you're doing an educational bit, i.e., a certain tool. There are lessons on YouTube. People have done the lessons.
Yeah, there's a lot of beginner lessons.
This is how to do this. This is how to do that. This is how you present a tool, which you could get from a qualified turner, a turner who is teaching people, give them lessons. That's the way to say it.
So this is a good comment by
Evening,
Robert.
Lucy.
By Robert, even Lucy, by Robert Broadwood even said, if you're a beginner, how do you know who is a good or who is not? Would you suggest a lesson first? See,
That's why I mentioned it. That's what I said.
See, that's about you knowing safety first. Obviously, if you're a beginner wood turner, you should know a little bit of intuition should tell you what's good and what's dangerous and what's not dangerous. But I would go. I mean, if I was going to start again, I'd go for an introduction to wood turning. A lot of people offer those lessons for about 80 quid, just to see what it's like and just pick up the basics.
Derek Weston's joining us. Hello, Derek, and he says, "Isn't the RPT the best place to find safe turning tuition?" Well, it is one of the places.
It is one of the places. There are a multitude of places you can find about safe turning. The AWGB is a good resource. There are lots of AWGB tutors around the country,
and there are videos.
Far more than there are RPTs, I have to say. But the RPTs are a good resource also. Both are have been well trained and are good at their job, basically, because they've been tested to say that they can actually do it.
Basically, what they've done is they've reached a certain level.
Correct.
That has been achieved in the RPT. As tutors in the AWG, they've reached a certain level, not as high as an RPT. They've reached a certain level where they can teach beginners.
But a registered professional turner, that doesn't mean they're a good tutor. That just means they're a registered professional turner.
They're a professional turner, so their work is probably very good.
Their work is up to the standard required by the register. That's what the RPT means. That's true. They may not be.
But there are several professional turners who are good at teaching and who do run courses. And not that I'm banging on about the AWGB, but if you go on the AWGB website and you want to learn, then you can, if you're a member of the AWGB, you can get a course on different things for free. You've got to apply for
free courses,
and you'll go in a list, and you'll apply and you'll go for it, and you'll get professional turners. You'll be sent to wherever whichever one it is. You may have to travel a while, but you'll be sent to a professional turner who will teach you. If you want a thread chasing course on something, or if you want a bowl turning course or whatever, they are there to be had. Evening, Steve Gordon. How are you?
So getting back to that's Steve Gordon, AWGB. So getting back to the original premise, is YouTube a good place to learn?
Oh, a good resource for beginners.
A good resource for beginners, yeah.
Maybe entertainment, but
I think it is. I think
it is. I think it's a useful resource.
Yeah, I think if you can't afford to pay for a lesson, or you're in the middle of nowhere and you can't get to a lesson, or your mobility or whatever's bad, I think if you know the difference between right and wrong on safety side of with machinery, I think you can learn a lot from YouTube. I really
You
do.
can.
You just got to
100%
select the
can.
people you watch, I think.
You need
That's
to
exactly
select.
what I was going to say. You need to be selective on what you watch.
Yeah.
When I first started wood turning, I selected about 5 or 6 different people who I'd watched, who I'd never seen before, but I turned on because they had big views. Basically, that's how I found them.
Yeah.
And I looked at them and discovered that some of them had really good content, and some of the others hadn't such good content. So I dropped some and kept on the others, and then found some more, and then eventually landed on a couple that I stuck with completely, and I still watch their stuff today. And it's more of a choice that you have to make. I mean, we can't make that choice for you. You have to make the choice what you want to watch. But
You have to
at the
select
end of the
which ones you
day,
think
it can be a good resource.
Yeah. I think basically what people are saying.
Andy Woodward Learner says you can be a good resource that led to meeting you lot, and then actually doing turning safely. So that's a good thing. If we've got one person to start to turn and turn safely, job done.
Definitely.
Has it
Totally
got?
agree with that.
It just went all suddenly very quiet there. I thought I'd been cut off.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just reading the chat now. I'm not going to say any more about that.
It's not like Terry to be quiet for that long.
No, well, I thought I'd better let you have it.
No, I just unplugged my headphones and that transferred to the webcam.
Oh, I see.
So I just had to change it back.
Overall.
All right, no, I think
Frederick Day says you have to apply some level of common sense and be selective. That's 100% correct, Frederick.
Mm-hmm.
It's not difficult to weed out the rubbish. To be honest, it's not difficult.
Sam Angelo's just started a new channel called Learn to Turn with Sam. Should be good. Well, yeah, it should be. Steve's all right. Steve Gordon says a YouTuber has no responsibility to keep you safe. A paid tutor has got responsibility to teach you safe practices, and that is quite
He
true.
certainly does. Yeah.
Yeah,
he does.
So although beginners may watch it, you may not try to emulate that until you've had a lesson from somebody who is competent.
And you got to remember, a YouTuber, when you're watching a YouTuber, whatever they do, you don't have to copy. That's your discretion to tell you, your common sense to you know, at the end of the day, you've got different levels of turners, and if you're not competent to do a back cut or a hollowing cut with a spindle gouge, then you don't try it. You don't risk your health and safety through if you feel your levels are not there. But saying that, sometimes it's nice to push yourself outside your comfort zone, because that will help you improve your skills and gradually you get better and better. But so it's a vicious cycle.
I think everybody should look at YouTube. Yorkshire gets in. I think everybody should look at YouTube as entertainment, and not necessarily try to learn everything from it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And entertainment with the possibility of learning something.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing.
When I do a YouTube live, I'm just trying to entertain. I'm not trying to educate.
So am I.
Or teach.
As I'm telling
educate maybe, but not. I'm not in any shape or form trying to teach anybody anything on YouTube. I'll just kind of demonstrate what I do, and try and be as safe and as.
When we're on YouTube, we're there for entertainment. That's all we're there for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is. It's an entertainment channel.
Okay, so we've dealt with that question by the look of it. So let's have another one, Steve. How about Brian's question?
Oh, this is Brian's question.
Traditional versus carbide tools. Ready?
Right. So this is my question. Let me just say something before Terry jumps on the bandwagon. It was my topic, and my opinion of carbide tools is basically it's just another tool. It's a new form of tool. Now, I understand that carbides are not new. They're not new. Carbides have been around for a long time, primarily used in metalwork because they were stronger than steel. But they've been adapted over the years to for woodworking. And in the beginning, I think carbide tools, because people didn't really know and understand how to use them correctly, got a bit of a bad rep. Because they kind of left a shoddy finish or a poor finish. But I think that's down to using the tool correctly. People can use a spindle gouge or a skew chisel and get a terrible finish. So I feel that the carbide is just a new tool, and a lot of people dismissed it out of hand. Just said, "Oh, carbide's not using them." Whereas I would quite happily use a carbide tool, and in fact, I'm leaning more and more towards carbide tools for specific tasks. Anybody want to add anything to that?
Well, bearing in mind, of course, carbide tools don't need a sharpening system, so you save yourself a few £100.
That's
But
true.
do you? But over 15 years, with all the tips you've got to replace, you're paying for the sharpening system, aren't you?
Well, yeah, but then over 15 years, you probably buy new wheels and new gouges because you've grown them away.
Gouges because they've grown away. Yeah, I think
You know.
that argument, the argument about the cost implications, in the long run would balance itself out. To be truthful, carbide tips, some of them, the more expensive ones, don't buy cheap ones because they don't last the crack.
Well, same as traditional tools as well, though. Isn't it?
Same as traditional. If you buy cheap, that's what you're getting. You'd be better buying a decent tool to start with, and then go ahead, Terry.
Greenhaven Creation says he uses carbides almost exclusively with negative rake because his signature is resin rivers in bowls.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's nice.
Which is fine. So resin is, turns better with carbides than they do with traditionals. I would think. I'm not saying it does because I don't know. I don't turn resin because I can't stick the stuff. But
yeah, it does peel. It does peel resin off pretty quick, I have to say, and it's much easier to use than a tradition than a gouge, for example. I don't like to use the word traditional tools because there's no such thing as a traditional tool.
Well, we're calling that as against the difference of carbides.
If you go,
yeah.
If you go back to the mists of time, everybody used scrapers in the beginning.
But if you read, that's what I mean. That's what Glenn's just put.
still
Carbide
do now.
scrapers, yeah. Glenn's just put they were there long before gouges were about, which is true.
Lucy says I find carbides easier, but I'm cack-handed.
Yeah, well, you can use carbides upside down, Lucy. See, like up there. So yeah.
Cost is Paul Calvin says cost is irrelevant for a new turner. There's no guarantee they'll still be turning in 15 years. Well, that's true. Well, I mean, some turners take it up, and then 6 months later they're quit, and that's when I get some bargains.
Yeah. I think you get a better cut off a gouge.
Now,
but
I agree with that. I agree with that to a point. Certainly on the outside of a piece, I think you'll get because you can use the bevel correctly. You can use the correct cut to do a finishing cut on a bowl or something, and you get a lovely cut with a gouge.
Like do the inside.
But on the inside, I think that carbides are kind of leading the way in hollowing, to be honest.
Hollowing, but not taking the middle of a bowl out. You get
I think carbides are the way to go for cleaning and for hollowing out hollow forms, pots, vases. I think carbides are great for, especially on end grain. They're great for that.
Yeah, and Wayne has a good point there. Says a tool is a tool is a tool. I use HSS, carbides, power carvers, and rotary tools. I use all the same tools, man. It's just another tool in your toolbox, basically. If nobody ever bought a new tool, we'd still be using flint. So it's a progression thing. It's just people are trying different techniques, different things, and the wood turning thing is developing. So the whole traditional v carbide argument, I think, is it's like a non-argument. It's just people got a bit. I mean, in my experience, carbides only started to take off in the last 4 years.
Well, no, they've been right long.
Been a long while, haven't they? You mean scrapers
for wood turning? For wood turning, you know the carbides I mean now. The carbides that we've all got now. I mean, the likes of the Simon Hope Hollower,
Simon Hope cup cutters,
Easy Wood tools, all these things are fairly recent additions. No, these are fairly recent additions to the wood turning armory.
Well,
But they have
carbides
their
have been
place. There's
about for
absolutely
resin.
no doubt.
Carbides have been about for resin for a long time. I've had a set of carbides for nearly 5.5 years for red because I
Well,
bought
but
them for resin.
that's relatively new. That's new.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's if you go back 10 years, would there be carbide tool? I mean, I don't know because I wasn't wood turning then. But if you went back 10 years, were there carbide tools readily available for wood turners? I don't think there was, but
Well, I think they were around then, yeah.
maybe Wayne will be able to tell me. But I don't know. But
Well,
I
gouges were
certainly
invented in
wasn't
the
wood turning then.
1960s
They
because
were,
before
yeah.
that was just scrapers. I
It
used
was
to use
basically
scrapers when I
scrapers,
was
yeah.
younger, all the way up.
Screw chisels and scrapers is what you had.
Yeah.
So Rick's made a good comment here that I use a combination of both traditional and carbide because I'm a pretty rubbish turner. I wouldn't say, you shouldn't. Anyway, so using both sometimes gets me the end result, and that's what it's all about. It's not about how you get there. It's not about getting there. It's about how you get there to make an accessible finish, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you're going to make something to either give to a loved one or sell, the person that you're selling it to is not going to say, "Did you use carbides on that?" or "Did you use a gouge on that?" They don't care as long as it's finished well.
Exactly.
And in the end of the day, finishing is done by sanding.
Unless you put
Basically.
a perfect cut with a gouge.
Well, I would suggest that nobody sells anything except for production turners who are making spindles and things like that, who very rarely sand anything.
They're usually using spindle gouges.
They're maybe using
Skew
120 grit
chisels.
just a quick rub over and throw it out the door.
So
They would
Wayne's
Because
probably
it's
saying,
going to
end
be
it too
painted
forward.
anyway.
so Wayne's saying yes, carbides were about a
Never.
long while ago.
Yeah, but I'm sure they were
In the
available.
1980s, they were around.
But if you go back 5 or 10 years, they weren't readily available for wood turners. They wasn't the
Well,
same
they weren't advertised, but they were
choice that
available.
we have now. Or I mean, there's a multitude of them now. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody's selling. Well, not everybody, but lots of people are selling them, and they're being promoted more and more.
Well, we
And
was using.
that's fairly recent.
I mean, I'm just imagining Terry. I should imagine they used to use carbides when you was in the engineering game, didn't they, Terry?
Well, they did
Yeah,
certainly. Yeah.
absolutely.
So someone's just
Yeah.
thought, well, if we can use them on steel, then
I
we can
served
use
my
them on wood.
apprenticeship. We had it. That's back in 1967. So
That's exactly what's happened. The carbides they've transferred from steel because they had to make something that would cut steel, and carbide is stronger than steel. So
and Easy
it
Wood's
was
been around for 20 years.
it was an obvious progression.
Yeah.
When we can find out from Easywood because we've got them on next week. Have we not?
Have we? No, not next week. Week after, I think.
Wait,
May, I
Week
think they're
after,
on.
is it?
I think they're on May.
Well,
Let me
May.
have a look.
May.
Let's have a look.
Steve
They
May.
are.
We have the Easywood Tools people coming on the special guest earworm coming up shortly, so we can ask them when did they turn from making carbides for cutting metals to making them
Jeez,
from
the word.
for woods. We can ask them a question. That'll be
17th
an
of May.
interesting question, and see what answer we get from them.
But I think I will quite happily use a carbide if I need it. I haven't got any preference. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I'm doing a nice cut on the outside of a bowl or an inside of a bowl and it's a nice piece of wood, then I'm going to use a bowl gouge because I think I can get a better cut off of it.
Paul Cabin makes a good point here. I've just moved it. Use what you enjoy. The majority of us will never make a living or a lot of money from this. It's a hobby after all. And you're 100% correct. As long as you're enjoying doing what you're doing, who cares what you're using?
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
it's like if you go and play golf, you don't need a set of ping irons to go and play around the golf and enjoy it.
There's a question here from Lucy. What is done to a carbide tool to make it a carbide tool? It's basically a carbide tip that fits to the tool, Lucy. You buy the tips, little square ones, little round ones, pointed ones, whatever. You buy the tips, you screw them into the piece of metal that's on the end of the handle to hold this little tip. And that is carbide based. And you get different grades of carbide. And they screwed on, and when they're blunt, you turn it around, use the other side.
Yeah,
Wayne the Woodturner asks the question there. Are we going
Are
to
you
have
gonna have
guests
guests?
on the bus?
May do,
Well,
Wayne. This is
if it
just
takes
our
off,
first one.
we will. This is just us kicking the thing off, just to see how it goes, and see if anybody interested. I mean,
If nobody turned up
But we-
tonight, we wouldn't be, we would be
Well,
would
we'll
going.
be
like your
talking to
opinion.
ourselves. Be a short
Yeah.
podcast, but
yeah.
we'll talk to
It would be very short. Well, I don't know. I've talked to these guys sometimes
yeah,
for 3 or
yeah.
4
But
hours
yeah,
at a
we may
time,
be
you
having
know,
guests, Wayne, and yes,
you know.
yes, you may be on it.
Yes, I think we should. If we continue, we certainly will be bringing on guests.
Yeah,
to
well, I
get
can't
their
listen to
opinion
Brian all
on-
evening. Get rid of
on-
him.
Well, I have to listen to Terry enough as it is, boys. Come on, maybe
Oh,
need somebody in here. Wayne says the brief history of the bow gauge, customwooddesigns.com. There's a link there. If he's, can you put that link in, Steve?
let's have a look. See if I can. Yeah, I'll see if I
The
can.
link's in.
The
And
link's in there.
Yorkshire Glit says, this is Glenn, Chris from Easywood owns a carbide insert manufacturing company. Yeah, and that's where it came from, I think. Yeah, well, that's not where carbides came from.
No, they came
But I
before
think-
Christmas, before Christmas.
But what I want to know is, they've had that carbide tip making business for years. When did they start making them for wood turners? That was my question. Not really. I knew they had a carbide business prior to starting the carbide, the Easywood tools, wood turning tools.
Simon Mace is up there. Like to spend a fortune on a Ousby Sovereign carbide set when he first started, but couldn't get on with it. Still got him somewhere. Never really
Carbides?
used it. Mm.
The
so
sovereign
we made
system, the
sovereigns.
sovereign system I got didn't have carbides on it. It had like HSS cutters, like scrapers on it.
They did a carbide system set somewhere.
Yeah, it did. Wayne. Yeah,
They probably
Wayne.
dropped it, but
Yeah, the link works. If you want to have a look at what Wayne said, just go over to the YouTube or on the YouTube chat. Just click the link and it comes up. I just tried it.
Oh, so Wayne has a spanner right now. So he has.
Yeah.
Big blue writing there, Wayne. How did I not notice
yeah,
that?
he's there.
God, pay attention, right?
Okay, we exhausted that one then.
I think so. Have we exhausted that one?
Okay.
Anybody get any more questions before we move on?
Why Travel has just joined us. Hello, Why Travel? Why not?
Why travel?
travel?
Yeah,
Why not travel?
You know.
That's the answer.
Yeah, why not?
If you want to stay with traditionals,
Because
and
we
the
can't
answer
afford
and say that you only use traditionals, then get rid of your chucks. Possibly get rid of your
And get
electricity.
rid of the electricity, yeah.
I know. Then you need a pedal lathe, and then you
Pole-
probably
pole
need
lathe.
traditional wood turning,
Pole lathe.
wood, not turning chisels. You need traditional wood tools, like
Mm.
all the chisels and things. If you're going to do it by foot power, like the bodgers do,
Is that what they called?
that's
is it?
hard work, mind.
Bodgers,
Unless you're used to it.
that's what they were called when they first started
yeah.
making chairs, chairs and stuff out of wood.
Bodgers. They go into the wood, they cut the tree down, they
And
make it up into a lathe with a nail that way and a nail that way, and another piece of string around with a bendy bit of
Bodgers turn wet wood as well.
and
They don't
then
turn
and they
dried wood.
stamp on a pedal or stamp on the wood, and it spins backwards and forwards. And you only introduce the tool when you're pushing down and it spins forward. Then you take the tool off and it spins backwards because this springs up with a branch, and then off you go again.
We've got a gentleman who was at the club last night, Terry, Brian, the old boy at the back.
Mhm.
He's got his dad's lathe, pole
Mhm.
lathe that was made
Has
in
he?
1826,
Wow,
and he's bringing it to our club hands-on evening next month.
that would be
Lovely.
amazing. I'd love to try that.
Does he use it at all?
Yeah, he still uses it now and again. Yeah, absolutely.
We got to
really
put.
I love
I've
things like that.
organised a pole lathe turner to come to the AWGB seminar in
Nice.
October. He's bringing it. He'll be demonstrating outside because they work outside, don't they? All weekend. Anybody's going, they get to have a chance.
Whoever's going to the seminar, make sure you bring a shovel because you might have to dig your car out through shavings.
Yeah.
Right, I think we exhausted that one then. So,
Okay.
I think so.
Got
Yeah.
one more
No,
question
that was
for you,
nice.
and then after that, we may be looking for questions from you, the chat.
right, so the question I came up with was setup costs for a beginner turner.
Ooh.
For beginner turn. You put an A in there as well, and you shouldn't
So
have.
if you were just coming out of your sitting room and thinking, I'm going
like
to
to
take up
turn
wood
today.
turning.
Setup costs
Mm.
turners.
We know it's
Right,
not
well.
cheap, but if you was a beginner turner, do you buy a good lathe and then gradually build up on the tools, or do you set your budget and then let's say you got a £2,000 budget, you buy your tools that you need, a basic set, so a couple of £100 or 250. Then you buy a sharpening system, because obviously if you go into traditional, then you need a sharpening system. But if you go in carbide, you don't. Or do you go carbide route and buy a set of carbides that's perhaps going to cost you £300 or £400, and then you invest the rest into a lathe? What's your thoughts? I don't think
Pete says it costs £473.76. So it did when you were a lad, Pete.
Yeah, Mike says he bought
Simon says it cost him
£12,000.
£12,999.
Oh no,
yeah,
everybody's
£12,000.
So
Mike's been quite realistic there. He's bought £50 for second-hand lathe, 70 quid for some second-hand gouges, and £1 million on everything else.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
So the initial setup cost doesn't need to be that expensive.
Horrendously expensive.
But what I want to warn people about is, if you're going to set up, do not buy a cheapo lathe.
No.
If they're made out of box section, it's not worth buying.
My first lathe was a lumberjack lathe. My first lathe was a lumberjack lathe, and whatever you did when you took it from if you put it between centers and put it in a headstock, it was never central. It was always out of line.
I wasn't going to mention any names.
All right, I bought a box lathe.
Yeah.
No, I'm being honest.
Yeah, I know.
They might be a lot better machine now. They might be a lot better machine.
I have to say the same. That my first lathe was a mistake because it was made from lightweight box section, and it never was ever going to be stable, or was it going to be true. So if you're going to buy a lathe, look for a good. If you can afford a new one, go for a new one from a reputable manufacturer. And cast iron is probably the best way to go. I don't know if you two guys would agree with that.
Yeah. Well, Baz Real Simple Things has just joined us. He said he won on #1 follower from Easyword for £1 or whatever. Pete Twisted Tree says spend £80 on a half a day lesson and save £800 on buying the wrong stuff.
That's true.
You don't know what that you want to turn yet. So probably go to a club, use their lathes, a hands-on evening. Somebody show you a lathe, somebody show you how to use it, etc., etc. Get a beginning lesson, and that will get you on the way to saying, yeah, I'll quite like this, and then I'll go and buy a lathe. But don't buy a lathe. The first thing you should buy, if you're going to buy anything, starting wood turning, if you're going to get into using traditional tools, as in not carbides, but ordinary tools that you need to sharpen, buy a sharpening system first. Then spend the rest of your money on a lathe and tools.
Simon makes a good point.
If you don't know how to sharpen them, it's pointless having tools that you need to sharpen.
Exactly. Simon makes a good point, because if you look on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, there is loads and loads and loads of second-hand lathes on there. Some people ask a lot of money for them. Some people, are asking sensible money for them. There was a one on there the other day. I believe it was one of the old Record Power, the SC3. What was before the SC3? He was selling that and a load of tools, a Camvac, and he wanted £250 for the whole lot. Now, to me, that's a good starter set. Okay, it's not the best lathe in the world. It hasn't got variable speed. It's all belt change, but it will get you started to find out whether you like it or not. And for 250 quid, if you were 6 months to a year down the road and didn't like it, you'd get exactly the same money back for it, I think.
Yeah, when I first had the notion of wood turning, my first port of call was Facebook Marketplace, and because I thought that I fancied trying it, I scanned the ads for lathe for sale, basically, and I landed lucky because a guy up near Oma was giving up turning because his hand was shaking because he had Parkinson's disease, so he couldn't really turn anymore. And I bought everything he had for a reasonable price because he just wanted rid of it. He couldn't use it anymore, and he wanted to try something else in his workshop space.
Baz, a
So
real
you can
simple thing's got a good
get good
answer
deals
there.
like
And
that.
Baz says Axminster Tools will actually give you
Mhm.
less than they do when you buy a
They
lathe
do.
from them. They still do, yeah. Well, when I bought my first lathe, Brian,
That's a good thing.
didn't
If you
exist.
can go to a shop and get to try the
Facebook
lathe there
Marketplace
and
didn't
then,
exist.
and yeah, that's true. But then you're old, Terry.
Brian, your sound
Yeah.
keeps cutting out, mate.
Your 10 years gone.
No, that's my computer. It's over revving itself here.
It's not a
It'll come
car.
back in a minute.
Get your foot off the throttle.
No, it is.
Your
It just
internet's over revving.
it just does that. No, it's the computer. It's suddenly the fan starts to go mad, and whatever's happening inside it, it's maybe overheating itself or something.
That's the processor cooling the thing down.
And then after a
being
minute or two, it comes
cooled by
back
the
again.
thing.
It's back now.
That's all the dust in
Yeah.
it. That's what it
So I
is.
don't know what's going on there. No dust. It's in the house. Wait till
Somehow
I
it
tell
still get
Michelle you
dusty,
think her house is dirty. Wait till
I didn't say Michelle's. I
Michelle
didn't say the house is dirty. I said your computer's dusty inside.
Did you ask them, Roy? Roy says he didn't offer a lesson when he bought his 406. Did you ask them for a lesson? I wonder.
Men's sheds are
Because
often open to ladies too. Can sort of try out a new hobby. That is a good place to try
Very
out
much.
something. Is right.
Men's sheds are great. Absolutely, we've got two in. We've got one in Kingston
Yep.
and one in Ousby. One
But
in
I think
Down in
also
Market.
join
Oh,
a
great.
wood turning club, because you'll find that most wood turning clubs will have lathes from people that have passed away and donated their stuff to the club,
That's
and they
right.
sell them to members.
Yeah.
Our wood turning club where I live got tons and tons and tons of tools, materials, lathes, everything that's been bequeathed to us, and it's just waiting to be bought, basically. You know.
Yeah, so strange. We get quite a few people at our club. They bring in contact details where obviously someone's unfortunately passed away, or they have to go into a care home, or they're ill, and they've got a workshop. They've got like 40 years worth of turning gear in their workshop, and they offer it to the club members, and it's a shame really, because you feel that someone's given up wood turning because of their ill health, or unfortunately have passed away. But on the other hand, it's giving somebody else the opportunity to
It does.
carry on using that equipment and progress in their wood turning journey.
Yeah, well,
I
after go to the scrapyard, don't it? We would pick
Yeah.
it up and say, "Oh, dump that straight in the scrapyard."
Exactly.
Or
I'd be much
whatever.
happier if a wood turner got my stuff. If
Yeah.
my
Well, Pete nearly got mine when I went on holiday.
if my lights went out.
Let's-
You
Good job I
know,
didn't give him the
somebody-
key.
if somebody else could have it and make good use of it, that would be grand. I wouldn't mind. I don't think Michelle would care either, to be honest.
It's
It would
better
free
that
the
than
space up.
just being scrapped up, though. No, it's better
Yeah,
than
or
just sitting there
left in the
rotting
shed for 20 years to rust away,
away.
because that could easily happen too.
Very much so.
So
IGK
to get
woodwork.
back to the original question, set up costs for beginning colours.
So that's a good question. The best thing to do is ask for an introductory session from a dealer and take a course. I totally agree. You can always ask to test drive a lathe within your budget, and that's a good agreement. I mean, at the end of the day, any decent stockist is going to let you have a go on a lathe to see if you like it, if it's too high, too small. And the other thing is, don't buy a lathe that you can't fit in your workshop. You don't want a lathe that's only just fitting in your workshop and you ain't got no room to move about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the other thing as well.
You do need a little bit of space.
508 and put in a 6x4 shed. It's not going to
Yeah,
work.
Even if
you
you
don't-
need the space to jump out the way of it when it comes
Well,
up.
and the thing is, people go, well, my shed's 6 foot across. It's only, the bed is only, let's say, a foot across, but the legs are another foot further out than that, aren't they?
Yeah.
You can't put them right against the wall anyway. So by the time you've got the wall and the front of the lathe, you're looking at 3 foot really, if not more.
Paul Carpenter's raiding my workshop already. Look,
Yeah.
thanks, Paul. I
My
knew
first
you would come
lathe-
through, mate.
My first lathe was a twin bar Elu. If anybody knows what that is, back in 19 whatever,
Oh, just lost the bubble off my microphone.
70 something, an Elu lathe, and that was I had that lathe for
Yeah.
years, worked the tree.
Hmm.
But anyway,
So,
till it upgraded to a Poolwood, which then was 1989, I think that was Poolwood lathe. That beast, and they're still huge now. People still use them. They're very good. It was a variable speed, but the variable speed used to turn a handle, and 2 discs used to come in and out to make the belt go wider or smaller.
Reeve drive, that was called.
Yeah.
So
I have never actually seen one of those lathes.
Absolutely brilliant it was.
That's what
I
the
wish I'd
Axeminists
kept
used to
it,
do, isn't it?
but I
Axeminists
bought.
used to do them. So I've
I
got
should
to
have
answer
kept
this
that one
question,
as
right?
well.
I've got to answer this question. Right, Lucy's put it out. Andy, I'm unfortunate. I don't get much time in the garage. Right, I'm going to answer this by sometimes you have to make time. If you want to get out there bad enough,
I'm going to get a drink of water next time.
You'll find the time. I know we all have commitments for life and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? You could be sat there watching telly for an hour and think to yourself, no disrespect, you could be out there now, Lucy.
Yeah. Simple.
But no, you have to make the time. You mean you have to make the time, unfortunately.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, she can't possibly be out there and watching us at the same time. How's that going to work?
She's got a smartphone. She can take it with her.
Yeah.
I know you're.
I mean, Andy's probably putting the kids to bed, so.
You know. Now you're being too smart.
In the daytime, you could take if the children are at school, aren't they? So you could go out there, or when they're at home, you just chain them to the wall in the workshop.
Yeah, chain them to the wall. Put them on a lead. Just tie them to one of them hooks like you do your dog outside the shop. Doug Miller. My first slave was a shopsmith. Learned a lot, but the Nova MIDI I replaced it with is still in use.
Yeah, Nova MIDI is a good lathe.
Novas are nice.
Yep. Little Nova lists are quite nice. I like them.
So when we finish this podcast, Lucy, you should down to us because the kids will be in bed, and you can just go out to the lathe and work on it for half an hour.
Spend an hour out there.
Come back in at sort of 11 o'clock midnight. Go to bed.
Yeah, I totally agree with this. I would always recommend electrical variable speed lathe. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Because they are much easier to use, and you've got more control over your speed as well, rather than just having 3 belt settings.
Well, yeah,
again,
but
it depends
turn
on your
most things on one belt setting, and then go down to the low one to sound power.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
I'll turn for years and years without variable speed lathe, and then I didn't even know the speed then.
So we've actually got an answer for our question. Oh no, not that one. This one. The setup cost. I forgot the question was. I think I'm in for about 1,500 for a decent beginner setup by shopping carefully. Totally agree.
Right.
I think you're thinking about right there. Somewhere between 12 and 1,800 quid will get you set up.
Yeah. They give you a mid-range lathe.
Yes.
A few tools and a sharpening system.
And
if you're buying second-hand stuff, you'll be able to get a bit
maybe
cheaper
a chuck
than that.
or two.
You know? So.
Not that you don't need a chuck. You can do everything without it. It's just
you can do things between centers
without it.
Yeah, you
just
can.
Hard work, isn't it? It's just hard work.
Hollowing out a bow becomes difficult between centers, but you
can do it. It's just
that can be done until you get to the bottom of it, and then you just sand the rest out.
Right. It all can be done.
There's another good point.
Martin says, don't worry about PPE.
There's another good thing. Martin at Aurora Woodcrafts is mentioning PPE, which is something we haven't mentioned yet.
But if you've got a workshop, if you've been cutting grass, cutting hedges, you should have safety glasses anyway.
And a mask.
You should already have them anyway. If you've been doing DIY, you should have masks for sanding. So you should already have all that. And you should always, whenever you're out in your workshop or your garden, you should always be wearing good footwear anyway. So them things you should, if you're a bit of a DIYer and a gardener, then you should have those things anyway.
You may have them, you may not, but if you don't, the minimum you need some sort of dust protection.
Yep.
Whether that be one of these paper filter masks or a proprietary mask, and there are a multitude to choose from with forced air systems, so the pressure inside the mask is greater than the pressure outside. So nothing comes in. You also have to have stout footwear. Nobody's saying you need to have steel toe caps, but you need stout footwear just in case you drop sizzling wires on your foot. No, you don't. That's what I said. Stout footwear is what they require. The recommendation is sort of leather would be ideal, or something that will stop a chisel basically if it lands, because invariably it'll land point down.
Yeah, they are, Robert.
And eye protection, ear protection. So lungs, eyes, ears, and body.
Nose.
There's,
Eyes, ears, and nose. Yeah.
well, when I said lungs, it kind of you need to protect your lungs, Terry.
Finishing
You-
products and consumables become a real cost as you progress. Well,
They can't.
you
They
can
can't
finish
do.
everything with beeswax if you want to. It gives a good
Or
shine.
Danish oil or something like that.
Or Danish oil, anything with one product, basically.
Yeah, but
So
the more you do, the more adventurous you become with wood turning, you'll find that you'll want to maybe add a different kind of finish, or you want to try something a little bit different because you've tried everything. Or you've used beeswax for a long time, or a simple wax for a while, and then you want to use an oil, or you may want to add color. Or I think that's the kind of finishing Mike's hinting towards that. The consumables can start to get expensive, and they're certainly not getting any cheaper. That's for sure.
No, definitely not. But it depends on what you want to accomplish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
I'd
mean, if
put it
you
light
want to,
on there,
if
I
you
couldn't
just
see
want to do,
myself.
if you want to do just round and brown, then you can get away with Danish oil or
Mhm.
beeswax or
Well, if you,
cheaper stuff.
I mean, don't
I have
many,
a good
how
suggestion
many
about Danish
people
oil.
watch Richard Raffin, his YouTube channel,
Hmm.
Richard Raffin.
Yeah, use
He's
beeswax.
made a career, a very good career he's made. Everything is on the sweaty sock with beeswax.
Yep.
Say you shouldn't use a sock because it's cloth.
Use this up.
He's never used anything else. And
Mhm.
he's still going strong. Years and years and years.
So just quickly, Robert brought up a question. Chucks are a whole different ballgame. That is a different conversation.
Yeah,
We
that's,
will
that's
bring
for
that
another
in.
day.
Perhaps we'll
If
bring
we
that next week.
if we bring it, if we come back with another
Next
podcast,
month.
that will
Yeah.
be a
think that'll be another
conversation
thing.
for another live.
We could also this is just a thought I've just had. We could also, if somebody in the chat wanted to join in, we could
We could put
we
we
could
can
send them
get
a
we
link.
can get up to 6 on this
You know, we could get another couple of.
podcast
I wouldn't want to fill
without
it
having
up
to
too
fork out
much.
for it.
No, you
because
don't
it-
want too many people. You don't
you know,
want
we
too
could
many.
bring
Just
in
people-
one or
and
maybe
get up
two.
to
But
6, so you could have
I
another
know
one.
you can, but it's just a suggestion that if somebody
think
really
one-
wanted
I
to come
think
in
one
and add
guest-
something,
Yeah, I think one guest.
yeah,
We can bring
could
more than
bring
one
them
in a night. We can bring one in, let them say their piece,
Yeah,
have the
exactly.
conversation, then take them out and
Mhm.
bring another one in. That's not a problem.
Or I could
can.
leave, you could talk without me. You can talk about me when I'm gone, I don't mind.
Terry,
Oh.
the show will be over in 10 minutes if you weren't there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, he's been very quiet tonight. I have to say. I mean,
Well, it's just you can't get a word in edgeways, Brian.
yeah, that'll be our
You'll be
change.
asleep. You'll be asleep in 5 minutes. That
I'll
won't
have
be-
to fall asleep now. Wait a minute, I'll go to
Won't
sleep
be a
here for a
problem.
minute.
Rob said, bye, Terry.
Yeah, bye, Rob. Hang on. 3 little buttons here, innit? That's it. 3 little buttons.
Yeah, 3
Destroy Rob.
Oh, look,
Copper
who's he
Owl.
gone? He just
Boom.
killed himself.
Destroy Rob, Copper Owl. Bye.
Oh, he came back and says, just kidding. No, Rob. Don't be backing down now.
Oh, I nearly had you, Rob. These 3 little buttons. I don't really care what anybody says to me. I love you all. Simple as that.
All right.
So, anybody got any burning questions they want to answer?
Yeah,
in the next
yeah.
Any
5 to
topics?
10 minutes, because we've been on nearly an hour.
Anybody's got any
Another
topics
thing.
they want to talk about quickly? It's over
What's
to you
what?
now,
Or if
guys.
not, a
It's
list
4
of
to 9.
topics for the next one.
Yeah.
And actually, could we ask, is this any good? Do you in the chat like this? Or is it not worth doing any more of it? Because everybody keeps seeing Steve turn a bowl, so
Well, when I learn how to turn one properly, I might get a bit better. But
Well,
for the time
exactly.
being,
I could
Let's
always
see if-
turn the bowl in the background. It wouldn't matter to me. I could easily do that.
I can sit here
did-
whittling
I
one.
did last night.
Time in how many months? Well, he did Sunday,
Ah,
actually.
see?
He came on Sunday.
Paul
It's actually
Cabinet says
this
that-
week.
Paul Cabinet says the biggest problem for me was this week's toy.
That's it.
In
That's
YouTube
good for you.
chat
Yeah.
videos costing me a fortune. Yeah. Well, you have to, stop buying all the new stuff and just concentrate on one thing, Paul.
Learn how to use the old stuff first, Paul, and then
Yeah,
you'll
Paul,
be
that's
Get
it.
back to turning. Paul
see
sees
some of
something
your
new.
work.
It's like, oh, I have to have one of those.
So
I used to
far,
be
he's
like that.
enjoyed it.
I know the feeling.
Right,
Okay,
so here's the
so
question:
yeah, wise
how many
got-
make a living?
Let's do a
Right,
question of
wise
how
got
to make a living with
Okay.
the lathe. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
put that one down. Steve will write that down for another time.
Paul Cabinet says, learn. Bah.
Well, Frederick and Nigel's liked it so far. So
Good.
At least they'll be back one day.
For the likes of you guys who are in the chat, would you like to come on and actually speak on the channel and join us to talk rather than just type in the chat? Because I know
Answers
sometimes
on
I
a
know that
postcard,
typing in the
please.
chat's not so good. But if you
So what
want
we
to
could-
join us, you can email Steve and let him know.
Answers on a postcard to the Scottish Parliament will do.
What we could do is if someone's got a topic they want to talk about, they can come on live. They can announce the topic,
Anne's got one for
Yep.
you.
and then we can have the discussion, and then they can
Yeah.
go off, and then someone else can come in and. What's this resin? How to get started without spending a fortune? Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Impossible.
said he'd
I'm going to answer that one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there is a way. There is a way to do it cheaper than spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds. But you're going to have to spend at least 100 quid to get started, I would say. And you can do small resin projects.
Doug Miller says he's happy to join you.
Small amounts of resin to get started with, without having to buy 5 litres at a time.
You get a person to ask a pre-planned question or popular on short. Yeah, that's what I just said, Andy.
Dancing the Hard Rock says he's got a face for radio. That's fair enough.
Wine travels in
So have I, Mike.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Is that Tuscan? Tuscan. Tuscan.
Welcome, Robert.
Welcome, Robert.
Very good.
Trying something different, so it's,
Yeah, we're good at that.
Okay, Nigel Harvey's come up with another one. Good places to buy nice wood.
Nice wood, yeah.
Timber. I'll get some links, actually.
What we should do is try and pull...
I've got two people that I'll get my wood from, and it is...
What we could do is try and pool the resources. Everybody who's in the chat must have a supplier of wood somewhere. So we could all try and pool our resources and we can maybe make a list.
You ask Pete Twisted where he gets his word. He says any churchyard for his yew. And he's got about 18 standing trees that are gradually being cut down, so he'll never run out. But obviously, we need to know places that you could purchase wood at reasonable prices.
Well, that's I think that's just an English thing, is it? In England.
Yeah.
Paul Calvin says, I get my wood from Brian Shed when he's not looking.
That's very good.
Yeah, I know Dane Chandler very well. Doug.
I know Dane as well, yeah. We do know Dane, yeah.
Paul gets from Brian's shed when he's not looking.
Andy Rupert Leonard could ask why colouring wood is bad. Well, that's a question.
Colouring wood's not necessarily bad.
That's a question for another night. We'll log that one. Colouring pros and cons.
Okay.
So, like I said, like we said, if anybody wants to come on and ask their question directly, message me or email me. I'll put my email in the chat. Oh, excuse me.
I can never done that. I know off by heart.
So do I.
But I still haven't sent you the photograph of the chalice yet.
Oh, you need to get your button gear. Got any tonight? Oh, that's not even right.
That's not right.
That's not right.
That's BT Tinder, innit? That's Tinder, innit?
That's Tinder, you boy. BT Tinternet.
At Tinder.com.
You suddenly come from Yorkshire. It's Tinternet, lad.
Internet.
That's better. I thought it looked a bit short. Anyway,
so
try that one.
First,
try that one.
Steve might get rid of that first one, but it's BT Internet, not Tinder.
Let's delete that comment. So anyway,
Can you delete comments? You can.
Yeah.
So anyway, anybody who wants to come on, if you guys want us to do another one, which I'm quite happy to, if a few people have enjoyed it. Again, it's about doing something different, so we're not doing the same thing every single week. But like I say, if someone wants to come on and ask a question or put a topic up for the chat, they can come on camera. They can, if they don't want to go on camera, it's fine. Email me the questions or the
and we'll discuss it anyway.
That way.
Yep.
And we can say who it's from. But if someone wants to come on, then obviously email me. All you will need is a microphone and a webcam. But if you've got a good webcam, then you'll be able to use the microphone from that.
From the camera,
off the camera, but obviously you need a speaker to hear what we're saying. So
I need a headset.
yeah, you're better off
No.
with a headset. You're actually better off with a headset. But I mean,
It
if
works,
you haven't
yeah.
got that, most people have got headsets nowadays.
I think
So yeah, but like I
Or
say, if
ear-
you'd like
or
to come on and
earbuds or
just
something.
if you'd like to come on and give us a topic, that would be greatly received. Yeah, like I say, you haven't got to be on all night. You come in, do your topic here for 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll move on. We kick you out the room,
We'll
and
kick
then
you out the door. Yeah, that's fine.
we'll
It's
kick
fine.
you out the door,
Like,
and
Thank you,
then
Roger.
we will bring in the next one. So that'll be a good interest. And like Wayne asked earlier, are we going to bring guests on?
yes, we are.
Possibly,
Possibly.
because
We'll see how it
if
goes.
people
think we
enjoy
should.
it, then we will bring it. But we don't want to overtake the special guest airworm. That's not what it's about. This is about
No. But
about questions and answers.
This would be a
There's
different
another
kind of
question for you. Like Andy's put in. Can we have a think about how to get around mobility problems or limitations? Sorry, mobility limitations.
Yeah, we can do that. Yep.
for Turners.
Simon Hope does a lathe that rotates.
Yep. Anne wants to know how often the podcast will be. Probably once a month at the moment.
Yeah, once a month probably.
At the moment, they may be once every 2 months, but we'll say once a month for now. We'll try it again next
You
month.
see,
what
see,
the reaction is.
Andy's gave us that question there about people with mobility problems and limitations. That's a good thing for Andy to do a bit of research on and maybe have a look at
Come back to us.
different places where he could buy things or purchase things to help people with that kind of limitations.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that.
If you're
Sure,
using a
there's somewhere.
desktop lathe, on a bench, you could actually angle the bench and put
But
a bar
you
across
do-
so it slips down. It won't slip down. and
They
put
do
the
actually
lathe
make
on
benches now, and certainly from my time in school,
Ooh.
they actually have
Well,
like
years ago. What do you mean now?
yeah, but in school they actually have a sink on it that actually tilts as well. In home economics, it was, and a cooker that goes up and down and tilts and stuff. So as
So you can get
people
the
in
fat out of the
wheelchairs
way.
can operate it as well, So as it's more inclusive.
I did see.
What?
I'm sure it was Simon Hope's website where they do one that rotates. So it's like got a big leg on it. It's like
It is.
turns.
It is.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
Sure, Simon Hope, I saw it on.
it can. So you
Obviously-
don't have to be so high up. You can-
Yeah, obviously there's a cost involved, but
Do it for sitting in a wheelchair, but of course
Yeah.
there's cost. Yeah.
it's a good. I thought it was a good idea. I thought it was
It's a,
brilliant.
it's a really good question, Andy. Thanks for putting that in there. We'll have a look at that and we'll try and dig out some information for it.
Okay, there we are. Over the hour. Look at that.
Excellent. No, it was very good. Enjoyed that.
Bad for a starter,
Oh,
was
good.
it?
Right, so if nobody's got any more questions, we're going to go because we only want to go for about
Yeah.
an
I
hour.
know there's plenty for us talking to each other.
Because I got.
Yeah, I
Thank
can't talk very long. Me, I go quiet.
Oh my God! Here
I'm
we
not
go.
I'm not
Here
very
we
good
go.
at talking.
You know what Terry's like. Hey, have you noticed, guys? Not once tonight did he mention his holidays. Yay!
Well, I just got back from one, didn't I? I'm going again in June, though. Just to let you know.
I couldn't resist that. I couldn't resist.
So the question, my question now is: Do we let them know what TTT stands for? Or do we make them wait
No,
till next month?
no, that's
they
up
got
to
to
them to
guess.
figure it out.
You could
They have to
guess what
figure it out.
TTT means, and it's not rude. Well, it could be.
Well,
The
it
middle
could
one
be. Is
But
it after 9 o'clock yet?
We may
No,
reveal it next
no, it's
time.
not after 9 o'clock
Answers on a
yet.
postcard, I think. I think we'll say
Yeah.
that
Oh
one
yeah,
till
answers
next
on the
month.
postcard. Yeah,
Answers on the postcard to the Irish government. There
I
you go.
think so.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you've got any wonderful ideas what TTT podcast or TTT means,
It's talking trash. That's a good one. Yeah, I knew Cavan would come
well,
up with
that was close, Gavin. See, Paul talks trash all the time because he just opens his workshop doors. Like, oh God, look at the trash in there. Close that.
Right, we'll leave that one. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
No, you were not. No.
Truly terrific turners.
Terry's
Rick's looking for a bonus there, isn't he? What?
Yeah.
Roy's got it nearly
Yeah.
right. Terry's talking tat.
Here, Rick. You're in next week, Rick.
You're my
invited
best
next
friend, Rick. You are. So what else we
Turning
got?
together, look.
Terry talking tat.
Three
we
turning,
got
three turning
talking,
to
turning
something.
together.
What?
Three turning tooth something.
Turning time titillation, says Lucy.
This is all coming in now, eh?
There's some good ideas there, guys, but none of them's right so far.
They're a lot
No,
better than
right,
what we
yeah.
came up with. They're a lot better than what
Yeah.
we came up
Right. We may have to adopt one of those, but never mind.
with.
We'll let you think about that until the next one.
Right,
Yeah.
then, guys.
So where is
Right,
the
well,
next one,
This
Steve?
space.
Well, if people want it,
Well, we're doing it
let's
again.
have a look. Let's have a look.
Next
We
month.
have special guest Airworm on the 17th of May.
Hmm.
So let's have a look.
And then you have to turn in between that, so you're not getting away with not turning like.
No. So we've got what we got this month. We've still got another. I mean, I've got next Friday, which is the 26th. So I'll be turning.
Well, you want to do some turning, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be turning then. So should we say the 24th or the 31st?
Pete says it needs a stick. Pete thinks you had a sticky keyboard. He types with a stutter.
So, right, I'm going to let you guys choose the 24th or the 31st of. Oh no, sorry, that's May. Oh no, it is May. The
Oh, God.
24th or the 31st of May.
Let's go for the 31st of May.
31st of May.
Executive decision has been made. 31st of May.
Good job.
Wait,
I'm
hear this.
putting
Wait,
all
hear
the way
this.
week after.
Wait, hear this. Terry's going to say, I can't, I'm on holiday.
No, I can do that one. I'm on holiday the week after that. So I think-
I knew you'd have to get it in sometime.
Right, so we
Oh,
will be
terrible
back
time.
due to you guys wanting us back.
Yeah.
On the 31st of May. And like I say, anybody who would like to come on and ask a copy,
Or set a topic. Set
a topic. That's what I'm looking for. Then email me at skkrafts@btnet.com, and then we will arrange something. Or if you've got any questions, email them to me.
Or if you're a bit afraid of Steve, just message me. It'll be fine. Just the same time.
Afraid of me? I'm the nicest guy on Facebook.
Yeah, but you're big. Oh.
Right, I put that in the diary. I'm in the diary for that one then. That's okay.
Right. So, like I say, anybody got any questions or topics, send them over, and we will ask them. If you want to come on and ask them yourself, then you're more than welcome
Send
to
it
come
with it.
on and
Yeah,
ask.
I'm more than welcome. That's
Yeah.
right.
The more the merrier. And like I say, you ain't got to be all the time. We'll put you on for a little bit, and then we'll just
Cool.
get rid of you like that, and then we'll put you back
We'll
on.
just get ready. Stand you anymore. We get ready.
So that's what it's all about. Right. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for coming over and joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's no intro, there's no outro, there's nothing to go. So we're just going to say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for
See you
coming
later,
in. Really
guys.
appreciate your time.
Catch you on the next one.
And don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the way out. We need the support for the podcast if you want it back. So, all right, guys, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.